So we had just talked about E3 earlier this morning in Newswave. Make sure you check that out if you missed it, as it just sounds like more and more publishers are backtracking or just not interested in E3 in its current form. And now, I gotta say, it sounds like E3 might just not happen this year, as we're hearing about more publishers just opting out of the event completely. And we're going to go over why E3 might truly be done in 2023. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that like button. And if you're new here to the Spawn Wave Plus channel, make sure you subscribe down below. Let's head over here. This was on IGN, where they had the latest story on it, saying rumors swirl around E3's future as Sega and others back out from the entire showcase. Now, Ubisoft is out, which is weird because a month ago, they seemed to confirm that they were going, like just backing completely. Hey, we'll be there. We're going to have a show. Plenty of games will be there to go over in our own like showcase that'll be attached to E3. I assume they were going to be on the showroom floor, letting people play some of these games and have their own promotion. And then less than 30 days later, now we're just going to have our own showcase event and that'll be it. Apparently they're still going to be in LA. I don't understand what's going on there with that, but this article from IGN I think sheds a bit more light maybe on why there's just a lack of confidence from publishers and platform holders with E3. Remember, Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony are not going to be part of E3, but Microsoft will be in LA. They have their own place to kind of hold their live event. So it's not like they're not going to be there. They just don't necessarily want to attach themselves to E3. And a lot of these companies say that they have confidence in E3 and it's still really important, but they're not really showing it through their actions. So I don't know. Usually actions would speak louder than words, right? So to me, it really just sounds like they're just not interested in E3 as they were back in the day. But let's scroll down here where they say concern over E3's 2023 future is continuing to grow, prompting more publishers drop out. We have Sega and Tencent, who will be skipping E3 2023. And, okay, so Sega and Tencent, I am curious what Sega would have really been showing here, as well as Tencent. But the whole thing here is the underlying issue of no one really going. And I think Konami did confirm that they would be going, but so did Ubisoft. So at any time, Konami can just be like, you know what? Nah, we're not going. But I guess if you think about it, if E3 still happens and Konami has legit stuff to show, would Konami headline E3? In that case, it might be worth them going just because they would be the big company there, maybe alongside of Square Enix, showcasing some stuff. Interesting world we could potentially be living in here in a couple of months. But from IGN, they say they've spoken with numerous individuals in publishing and PR who typically have knowledge of event strategies, all of whom expressed concern about the status of the summer's event, with many told them that they hadn't heard of anyone else who was planning to attend for sure, and some said they felt they had been a significant lack of communication from the ESA and organizer ReedPop as to what exactly they should expect from the show. All right, so we're less than 3 months away from E3 happening, and if some of these publishers and developers and even just exhibitors, different companies who would show up there, maybe that sell accessories or want to talk to other folks in the industry, if they don't know what's going on with it, that's concerning, right? That should start to raise some alarm bells around this. And ReedPop, they just had PAX East, and from what I can tell, it went off without a hitch. Weren't major issues. In fact, Nintendo actually did bring some marketing material for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And the fact that they would run that show, fine, and then we see E3 seemingly crumbling before our eyes is odd. Now, the ESA is attached to E3, and they would be part of it, even though ReedPop would be organizing it. So it does seem like the big factor is the ESA, and I don't know if they're just not able to adapt to really where modern media coverage has gone, but I see Jeff Keighley over there, and he seems to be excited about Summer Game Fest, and in fact, it's mentioned in this article that a lot of these publishers seem mixed to positive on what Jeff is doing with his own in-person event that's going to be taking place specifically for media. So, I don't know, E3 when it originally started, was a trade show. It existed as a way for many in the industry to talk with others, whether it's a publishing label, maybe a smaller developer wants to has an idea and they want to pitch it. Maybe there are deals going on in the background, yes, for timed exclusivity, sure, but even just creating a game in general and securing the funding, even talks between accessory makers and platform holders for licensing there, a lot of stuff going on in the background. Not as required anymore in the digital era, when you can just Zoom call someone or yes, send an email, less secure, I guess, but you can contact people fairly easily now and have face-to-face conversations without having to fly in, spend a bunch of money, and really the logistics and time involved in even setting up a booth for E3. So to me, I kind of think this is it. I feel like E3, what I think is going to happen is E3 most likely is going to announce some either massive shift in what they were going to do or just outright cancellation. A massive shift would just be a digital-only event, and I don't really know why any of these publishers would participate in that when they can just stream it themselves. Konami could do their own thing for, let's say they have Metal Gear Solid stuff and they want to announce it. Do your own stream, people will show up. They did it for Silent Hill, people showed up, people covered it. It worked fine. So that's kind of where we are now and what I'm expecting here. I'll be honest, as soon as next week, because next week is April, which means we're 2 months away from what we assumed would be a really big showcase for E3. Not looking like that's going to happen, though. But let me know what you guys think about this one down below. Are you surprised to hear that just in the last 24 hours, we have Ubisoft, Sega, and Tencent all pulling out of E3 to join Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony just not going? Is this really the end of E3? Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.